Since many of you seem to enjoy my last video on this topic, I figured I might as well make another one.
Oh, boy!
So here are 5 more scams that have become so normalized we don't even recognize them as scams anymore. Now if you haven't seen my first video, you can check that out here. I will also put a link down in the description. Let's get right into it. First on the list is payday loans. The prevalence of payday loans in our society has become so normalized that many of us fail to recognize the inherent deception underlying these financial scams. A payday loan, for those unfamiliar, is a financial transaction where individuals borrow relatively small sums of money, usually ranging from a few hundred to $1,000, to bridge the gap between paydays. These loans are usually advertised with a reasonable looking fee, such as borrow $300 for $20, which must be paid in full within 14 days. However, what makes payday loans particularly insidious is the cycle of debt they perpetuate. The essence of the scam lies in the astronomical interest rates imposed by payday lenders, which can reach an annual percentage rate of 300% to 600% or even more. When the borrower is unable to pay back the loan within the 14 days, interest starts accruing at an alarming rate. Borrowers, who are often driven by desperation, find themselves trapped in a cycle of borrowing and repayment, unable to break free from the financial shackles imposed by these loans. It's not uncommon for borrowers to owe more in interest and fees than the original loan amount. What may seem like a manageable fee upfront quickly balloons into an unmanageable debt burden, trapping borrowers in a cycle of perpetual indebtedness. Payday lenders target individuals who are already financially vulnerable, exploiting their desperation for immediate cash. These lenders often operate outside the realm of traditional banks and credit unions, further concealing the true nature of their practices. Despite their predatory tactics, many borrowers are lured in by the promise of quick cash, unaware of the financial abyss into which they are descending. As a result, individuals who turn to payday loans in times of financial need often find themselves in a downward spiral of debt and despair. The consequences can be devastating, with some borrowers facing bankruptcy and financial ruin as a result of their reliance on these deceptive loans. It's clear that payday loans are the epitome of predatory lending, thriving on the ignorance and desperation of those in need. So it's imperative that you educate yourself about the dangers of payday loans and explore alternative financial solutions. There are much better ways to get quick cash, such as selling an item that you own on Facebook Marketplace, or you could even pawn something in the short term. And even though it's not advisable, taking a cash advance on a credit card, especially in an emergency situation, is far better than getting stuck in a payday loan with a 600% APR. So let's be clear, the prevalence of payday loans underscores the urgent need for greater awareness and regulation within the financial industry. By empowering consumers with knowledge and advocating for stricter regulations, we can work towards eradicating the scam of payday lending and promoting greater financial stability for all. On to the next scam, multi-level marketing. Multi-level marketing schemes have long been criticized for their deceptive practices and their willingness to exploit the most vulnerable. These schemes operate under the guise of legitimate business opportunities, promising individuals a chance to achieve financial success and independence. However, closer examination reveals that MLMs are inherently flawed and ultimately function as elaborate scams designed to benefit a select few at the expense of the majority. At the core of MLMs lies a pyramid-like structure where participants are recruited to sell products or services. While this may sound appealing in theory, in practice, it creates a hierarchical system where only a small fraction of participants at the top of the pyramid reap significant financial rewards. The vast majority of participants, often referred to as distributors or representatives, find themselves struggling to make any substantial income. One of the key issues with MLMs is their emphasis on recruitment rather than the sale of actual products or services. Participants are incentivized to recruit new members into the scheme, often through deceptive marketing tactics that exaggerate the income potential and downplay the risks involved. This relentless focus on recruitment creates a cycle of dependency, where individuals are pressured to continuously recruit new members in order to maintain their own income stream. Many MLMs require participants to purchase expensive starter kits or product inventories upfront, under the guise of investment in their own business. This places an undue financial burden on participants, many of whom end up sinking significantly sums of money into the scheme with little to no return on their investment. In essence, MLMs exploit the dreams of financial success and independence held by their participants, only to leave them stuck in debt and disillusionment. On top of that, the products or services offered by MLMs are often of questionable quality or value, with inflated prices designed to generate maximum profits for the company and its top recruiters. Participants are encouraged to focus more on recruiting new members than on selling products, leading to a saturation of the market and a lack of genuine demand for the offerings. As a result, many participants find themselves struggling to move inventory and generate meaningful income. MLMs also employ manipulative tactics to keep participants engaged and invested in the scheme, including high-pressure sales techniques, cult-like indoctrination, and dissemination of false or misleading information. Participants are often encouraged to attend expensive seminars, workshops, and conferences where they are bombarded with messages of success and prosperity, further reinforcing their belief in the scheme. Ultimately, the reality of MLMs is far removed from the glamorous image portrayed by their promoters. While a select few may achieve financial success with the scheme, the vast majority of participants are left disillusioned, financially drained, and worse off than when they started. MLMs prey on the hopes and aspirations of vulnerable individuals, offering false promises of wealth and success while delivering little more than broken dreams and financial ruin. As such, MLMs are rightly regarded as nothing more than elaborate scams perpetuated by those who stand to profit the most from the exploitation of others. And speaking of exploitation, let's talk about a scam that tends to be more controversial. Insurance. While insurance is often marketed as a safety net for individuals and businesses against unforeseen circumstances, a deeper examination reveals that it operates more like a calculated scam designed to benefit insurance companies at the expense of policyholders. First of all, insurance companies capitalize on people's fear of the unknown by selling them policies laden with complicated jargon and loopholes. These policies are intentionally crafted to confuse and deceive, making it difficult for policyholders to understand what they're actually paying for. This lack of transparency allows insurance companies to exploit their customers, collecting hefty premiums while minimizing payouts through cleverly hidden exclusions and limitations. Insurance companies often engage in tactics that border on coercion and manipulation to lock in customers and maximize profits. From relentless advertising campaigns that instill fear of potential risks to aggressive sales tactics that pressure individuals into purchasing unnecessary coverage, insurance companies employ various strategies to lure people into buying policies they may not need or fully understand. Once trapped in these contracts, policyholders find themselves at the mercy of the insurance companies that prioritize profit margins over fulfilling their promises of protection. On top of that, insurance companies have a vested interest in denying or minimizing payouts whenever possible, regardless of the validity of the claims. This profit-driven approach leads to a culture of claims denial and underpayment, where policyholders are routinely shortchanged or left empty-handed when they need support the most. Even legitimate claims are subjected to relentless scrutiny and bureaucratic hurdles, with insurance companies deploying teams of adjusters and lawyers to find loopholes and technicalities to deny coverage. The entire insurance industry operates on a fundamentally flawed premise of collective risk pooling, where premiums from many policyholders are pooled together to cover the losses of the few who file claims. While this model may seem equitable in theory, it often results in unjust outcomes, where low-risk individuals subsidize the high-risk ones, leading to inflated premiums and diminished returns for the majority of policyholders. In essence, insurance becomes a legalized form of gambling, where the odds are stacked in favor of the house, the insurance companies, while policyholders are left to gamble with their financial security. While insurance may masquerade as a benevolent institution offering peace of mind and financial protection, its underlying mechanisms and practices reveal a darker reality. From opaque policies designed to confuse and exploit to profit-driven tactics that prioritize the bottom line over customer welfare, insurance operates more like a sophisticated scam than a genuine service. As long as insurance companies continue to prioritize profits over people and perpetuate a culture of deceit and exploitation, the notion of insurance as a scam remains a harsh yet undeniable truth. Now, before I move on to the next scam, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps out this channel and also my goal of reaching 1,000 subscribers. And while you're down there, please tickle that like button if you're enjoying this video, of course. Next scam is credit card interest. Credit card interest often traps individuals due to a lack of comprehensive understanding. Many consider it normal to accumulate charges on their credit cards, intending to make minimum payments or settle the balance based on remaining funds. Yet the true extent of the financial burden remains elusive to most. Typically, credit cards bear an annual interest rate of around 20%, compounded continuously. This means that the 20% interest isn't merely applied to the initial purchase, but accumulates atop existing interest, perpetuating the cycle as long as the balance remains unpaid. For instance, a $100 purchase repaid over a year would result in a $120 obligation, which is a 20% increase. However, if this payment extends into a second year, the compounded interest elevates the total to $144, with the original $100 now doubled after 4 years. While this might not appear alarming for a single transaction, direction, the ramifications magnify substantially for larger expenditures. If comprehended fully, individuals might reassess their spending habits. Unfortunately, many merely focus on the immediate costs, neglecting the long-term consequences. Credit card interest operates as a predatory mechanism, exploiting those lacking financial resources or understanding. To minimize its effects, it's wise to treat your credit card as if it were a debit card. This means using it for everyday expenses like groceries and fuel, then paying off the balance promptly each month to avoid accruing interest. For non-essential or luxury purchases, make sure you have the cash on hand and make immediate full payments, which will prevent you getting caught in the interest cycle. Ultimately, being vigilant and having financial literacy act as strong protections against the hidden dangers of credit card interest, ensuring individuals don't unknowingly become victims of this scam. And the last scam on the list, soliciting donations at checkout. Businesses asking for donations during the checkout process has become a prevalent practice, but it's fundamentally misleading, and I consider it a scam for several reasons. First of all, customers expect to pay for the products or services they are purchasing, not to be solicited for additional donations. When a business asks for donations at checkout, it can create a sense of obligation or guilt, manipulating customers into giving more money than they had originally intended. Businesses often use emotionally charged language or imagery to appeal to customers' sympathies and encourage them to donate. This tactic can exploit people's generosity and vulnerability, especially when they are already in a mindset of making a purchase. By leveraging emotional manipulation, businesses can increase their profits under the guise of supporting a charitable cause. Additionally, there is often a lack of transparency surrounding where these donations actually go. While businesses may claim to support charitable organizations or causes, customers have no way of verifying how their donations are being used. Without proper accountability and oversight, businesses can easily misappropriate these funds for their own gain, further contributing to the deceptive nature of the practice. The checkout donation process can create a sense of social pressure, especially in public settings. When asked to donate in front of others, customers may feel compelled to do so to avoid appearing stingy or unsupportive. This peer pressure can lead to impulsive decisions and can ultimately result in customers giving money to causes they may not fully understand or support. Businesses may use the guise of charitable giving to boost their public image and brand reputation. By associating themselves with charitable causes, businesses can create the perception that they are socially responsible and altruistic, thus attracting more customers and boosting sales. However, this tactic is disingenuous and manipulative, as it prioritizes profit and image building over genuine philanthropy. Additionally, the practice of asking for donations at checkout can divert attention away from more meaningful ways of supporting charitable causes. Instead of encouraging customers to make small, one-time donations, businesses could promote long-term partnerships with charitable organizations or initiatives that address root causes and create sustainable change. By focusing on genuine collaboration and impact-driven solutions, businesses can make a real difference in their communities and beyond. So let's be honest, asking for donations during the checkout process is a deceptive and manipulative practice that exploits customers' generosity for the benefit of businesses. It creates a sense of obligation, uses emotionally charged appeals, lacks transparency, and diverts attention from more meaningful forms of charitable giving. As customers become more aware of these tactics, they can push back against this scam-like behavior and advocate for more ethical and transparent business practices. If you're looking for ways to avoid being scammed and keep your hard-earned money, check out this video on 5 things you should never waste your money on. I'll see you over there.